So we kick off with a cracker right here in TalkSport. It's got to be goals, isn't there? Spurs, Man United. Then it's around the grounds with Adrian for all the goals as they go in up and down the country. Then 8 o'clock, it's off to the bridge for a TalkSport exclusive, Chelsea against Wolves. Chelsea could batter Wolves, but then again, Chelsea can have their off day. They were great against Spurs, weren't they? Or were Spurs awful against Chelsea, do you know?
Bit of both, but have you seen how many changes Chelsea have made this season?
Loads.
85.
Yeah. I was going to say
incredible,
68,
isn't it?
70, but more
85
than that.
changes.
Incredible.
But they've got a massive squad, haven't they? Do you think they're ahead of schedule, Chelsea? Because they've obviously signed young players.
I still think they're fourth best.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to get above Liverpool. Liverpool spending $500 million and Man City spending 300 million. It's going to be difficult to jump above them no matter what, and Arsenal. But I think they're slightly... I thought he'd get sacked, the manager.
Yeah.
He had too many players. But they're doing all right, I think.
Man City, though, it's 4 wins and 5 to move up into second, and up next is Liverpool. Whoa. At the Etihad on Sunday. But are they back? Simon Jordan, what does Simon think about it?
The only way they're back is if they win the Premier League. And if the answer is that they're going to win the Premier League, then the answer, in my view, would be no. So then, by the definition of the standards, which means Man City are back, is no, they're not back because they're not dominating English football. And long may that continue, because who wants a Bundesliga Mark II? Who wants a replication of other European leagues that have dominant teams that you know who's going to win the league every single year? Who wants that besides the individual club's fans?
I understand what Simon's saying, but you got to give Arsenal credit, surely.
Arsenal haven't got any really young defenders.
Well, not defenders, but you get the young boy, the Essex boy, brilliant. What's his name? Fantastic.
Lewis Skelly.
Max.
Dalman. Yeah, he looks
fantastic.
He doesn't look 15. If you said to me how old do you think he is, I'd say about 20. The way he uses his body, like an experienced pro.
Yeah.
But Man City have got young defenders, and it's going to cost them, I think.
Well, Simon says they aren't winning the league, but an impressive win against Liverpool. Does that put the pressure on Arsenal? Let's find out. We'll build up to a huge weekend in the Premier League with the Guardians. Manchester correspondent Jamie Jackson. Morning, Jamie.
Morning, Jamie.
Good morning.
Jamie, I think we've got to start with this City-Liverpool game. What a cracker. You know, Arsenal themselves, maybe slightly easier. They're going to Sunderland, but that's suddenly turned into a tough game. But City, do you really fancy City? Because Liverpool are now beginning to find their rhythm again.
I don't know if I really fancy City, but, because what I would say about Manchester City is they're starting to get it back together going forward, and there is a little bit more solidity, but they can still be got at. This Rodri absence, because he's going to be missing again. It's been 14 months now since his knee injury, and he's not come back properly, if you understand what I mean. He has come back, but he keeps on getting setbacks.
Did we realise how good he was before he got injured, Jamie? Because it's incredible the difference when he's out the side.
And Jamie, what is setbacks? They weren't the same knee injury, was it? Has it been a groin strain or something?
Well,
else?
at the moment, yeah, it's a good question, Dean. It kind of was. He didn't get another serious knee injury, but for example, at the moment, it's a hamstring problem. So he came on for the last minute of the game on Sunday, but he wasn't available for Dortmund. And Guardiola, Pep said, before that game on Wednesday, it's only a little sort of thing. He won't be out for too long, but I don't expect him to be part of the squad on a Sunday. And, this is what I'm talking about, because without him, they can be got at. Each time, basically, a team goes at City, because I watch them all the time. And I was at the Club World Cup, etc., when they got knocked out by Al Hilal. They look like they can be got at. There is a vulnerability there. So you go to Liverpool, who obviously know how to attack. And this Real Madrid result, especially when they kept a clean sheet, I know they were at home, but they've been wobbling a little bit. I understand they won the previous league game to sort of stop the rot, but I just feel this is going to be a tight one. Liverpool won home and away last season in this fixture under Slot. I'm not saying necessarily they're going to win, but if you then widen it out to the Arsenal situation, as you mentioned, this is a great fixture for Arsenal, because if they can beat Sunderland, and whatever the result, particularly a draw, is great for Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
Because one of their rivals is going to lose ground.
Jamie, I'm not going to talk about Haaland because we know how good he is. He's just special, magnificent. On to Phil Foden. I'm delighted Phil's playing again and O'Reilly's playing again, because there was a spell where Pep wasn't playing them. But just on Phil, the big question on everyone's lips is England squad. He's got to be in there, hasn't he, the way he's performing now? He's playing with ease. He's stroking the ball into the bottom corners. He's playing with so much confidence. He has to be in.
Yeah, I hear what you said. And it's interesting you describe his goals like that. Al, because particularly the first one against Dortmund, it was like he just nonchalantly passed it past the keeper into the bottom corner. I mean, both his goals that night went in the corner, but the first one especially, obviously I watched him, I'm there, and I'm thinking, wow, he's just sort of calmly put that into the bottom corner. So I think it could go either way, but I do think it'd be, I think Tuchel. I personally think Tuchel will pick him, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either way. I am a bit surprised. There's a bit of a debate. The only thing I'd say, and I think Darren Bent said it in the clip he played earlier, he's never really done it for England that I can remember anyway. Whereas Jude Bellingham, who I think is going to be recalled, has done it. Did it at the Euros, got England out the fire in one game, I think, when he scored towards the end. So maybe that's what's in Tuchel's thinking. But I do think he's a class act. And, Tuchel's job, we don't need me to say this, is to get the best out of all this talent he has. And yeah, you're right, Phil Foden, this is why, with De Bruyne gone now, and he had been missing last season because of injury. If you think back 2 years ago, Foden was, the Players' Player of the Year, etc. 27 goals in all competitions. He kind of didn't win them the league single-handedly, but if he plays well, City do. So when Tuchel announces his squad, it's going to be very interesting. I think it's probably going to be the major talking point. So it could go either way. Guardiola was asked about this after the game, about Foden being selected, and he said, well, it's up to Tuchel, but, I'm sure Thomas Tuchel will do the best for your country. So we'll have to wait and see.
What game are you covering? Are you down? Are you in London at Tottenham, or are you doing the City game?
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on the United game at Spurs, but I'll be at the Etihad for City Liverpool.
Brilliant. Look forward to it. Speak next week. Thank you. There you go. It's a cracker. Jamie Jackson there from The Guardian. Manchester United, as I said earlier, have got to break. But United, had they beaten Forest, and they didn't, but had they, look at the table. It's remarkable how high they'd have been. They've been up in joint second or something. Ridiculous.
I think 8th would be good for Man United.
Oh, no, I think they'll
finish 8th.
I think they'll finish better than that.